Hey, what is up, guys? All right, we're back and we're gonna do the sway bars. So if you followed me for the last videos, ooh, it's sunny today. We got some nice weather. And it's a beautiful day. It's about 70 degrees. It's a nice change. So sway bars, yep. So if you follow me on Instagram and stuff like that, then you've probably seen a little sneak peek that I did. So what we have to do now is we're gonna rip all of this stuff apart, get it into the air. I got to clean up my garage a little bit, but anyway, so should be a fairly easy process. And as far as the sway bars go themselves, so right there, so what those are the GT350R front and rear sway bars. So we're going to pair that with, you know, the GT350 4 Performance springs with the Magna Ride, see how it all comes together. So there's some ongoing thread, there's an ongoing thread on Mustang6G.com, and you guys are probably very familiar with that website. If you're not, go check them out. So anyway, there's a lot of misinformation about like part numbers and stuff like that, but I do have the correct part numbers and I'm going to link them down in the description. So let's go ahead and get the car in the air and start tearing it apart. Alright guys, so once you have everything deinstalled in the car in the air, so you got the wheels off, you're going to come right in here, and I've just flipped this up out of the way, just it makes it easy to pull that box out and get the light right. So you got an 18 millimeter here and here, so you can get to that guy from the top, or you know, you could honestly try to get through that from the engine bay, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to come down here and sorry for the light, but you have this plastic piece right here, and you can actually get to the bolt underneath there, and it's going to be an 18 millimeter. All right, so next in line is you have an 18 millimeter as well. It's going to go on your end links here. So you can go from the bottom down there or the top. I'm going to go for the top and just disconnect it later on. It's just because I'm going to use power tools and it just makes life easier. So behind that you have a 17 millimeter. You're going to hold it in place, otherwise this is going to spin, and then you're going to take it free. So if you guys go for the top like I'm doing, so you're not going to be able to get that out really. So the way you combat that is you just get your jack and you're going to put it underneath here somewhere, support it, you know, preferably on the back underneath that spindle, and then just raise this up, and it's going to alleviate some of the pressure on that, and it's going to drop out. Okay, so it's going to be hard to see. Down there you have the other side on your passenger side. So basically what you're going to do is get some extensions, and yeah, you can't really tell, but it's down there. So get some extensions, and you're going to attack it the same way. Go for that front bolt and then go through the fender over here to get to that back. Alright, so she's out. That, you know, what you'll hear that doing the front sway bar is a pain in the butt. And no, I literally got this thing out in about 3 minutes. So cock my wheels like this, and then you're going to go through this area, and then you're going to curve this thing back towards the center of the car and have a second person go from really at the top, and then they can, you know, pick it up and stuff and guide it through. But now here's the challenge. So these are Ford parts, and these brackets right here are basically together. So I've got the bushings and everything for the R bars, so but I need to be able to separate. Let's see if I can show you. They are together, so I need to be able to separate these brackets, and then I can transfer everything over. So also for these brackets, if you have a performance package Mustang GT, okay, these are the same. So those R bushings are going to fit inside of here. If you don't have a performance package, when you order these bars, you're going to need to order these brackets as well for the front. Alright guys, so this is what I'm doing. So these are kind of like stamped in there. So the way that I am doing this, and it's working so far, is I have a drill and I've got one of these little bits on the end of it. So I just kind of hammered
screwdriver in there and pry it up a little bit so I can get another one in here after I shave down some of that metal. And this is how you're going to basically separate these pieces. Once you have them separated, get you a screwdriver, something like that, and then I've been hammering into the side here against the rubber bushing, and you can tell that it's actually starting to come out. Alright, so we're out in my driveway. I got one of these things. So in front of us we have the 350R sway bar, and then this is the regular 18 performance pack. So get about 26.3 on this device. You know, this may be off a little bit, but it's a little plastic one. But it's 26.3 and that's 28.3. So there is a difference between the two. So let's do that again. Make sure that we are correct. Going all the way down. 26.4. $28.3. So right on the money. Okay. Don't worry, I'll link it in the description. So, all right, so got our new bushings and we got our grease. So we are going to grease these and put them on the car. And you want to be pretty liberal when you're putting this grease on. So you really want to work it in. Okay. Also going to put it on the bar. And then alongside here as well. This is one of those things where you really can't use too much. You know, better to overdo it the first time so you don't run into any squeaking issues or whatever. And that's going to go on like that.
Oh man. So yeah, it's not too bad. We're almost done with the front. When you start tightening, make sure that you tighten the front bolts up. I'm about to show you what I'm talking about. Get them started first and then go through the fenders and kind of get them both started before you start doing, you know, torquing one of them down. There's a giant bee that just landed on me. Wow. Also, it was pretty cool is I had somebody else that noticed me from the channel and they stopped by to say hello while I was in the middle of this. So that's really, really cool that you guys are not that I don't want my address publicized or anything like that, but the ones that are local, you know, that's kind of neat that they stopped by. So, all right, let me show you about this bolt. So, bring it over here to the car. So that one is your front. You want to get that started, and then you want to get that one started as well. And then you're going to do the same on the other side before you start torquing anything down. So, and I believe that they need to be about 40 pound-feet, something like that. So, I just got them really, really snug. There's no way I'm getting a, you know, a torque wrench in there. So, but just get them tight, and you should be good. Okay, so we're starting to lose some daylight, but I'm gonna show you. Let me crawl underneath the car with the camera. So. This thing is still, the stock bar is still on the car, but you can see what that looks like, 16.2. Okay. Here's the other bar. So we're gonna go 18.5. Yeah. So, definitely a bigger bar. And because I'm also losing daylight, I'm going to just go ahead and show you what to do because I'm going to be working on the dark here in a minute. So for the rear bar, it's pretty easy. You got your 2 bolts there and there, and you're going to take all of this loose. So you got a number 6 Allen key there, and then it should be the same 18, and then that's going to be probably a 10 millimeter. And you're going to take all of that loose and just slide the bar out, and just put the new one in. It's a pretty easy process for the rear. But for the front, once you put your bar in place, it goes in pretty easy. I don't know what the big headache is. You know, people talk about how hard the front bar is. It's really not. So put the bar in, get them lined back up here, and then slide your base plate, since we separated the brackets, slide the bottoms in there, okay? And then you're going to come through the top, and you're going to put your top bar or bracket back on, and go ahead and get these 18 millimeter bolts started before you start really tightening anything down. So, and then you can hit them with your power tools or whatever, and then go back into the fender, and then you can hit that other bolt too, and you should be able to torque those down to about 40 pound-feet, somewhere in that ballpark, and you should be good. Just get them real nice and tight. All right, so like I said, guys, it's going to be a 2-day thing. So I'm going to do the install. I'm going to lose light here, and then I'm going to come back tomorrow, which will be the same video for you. So don't worry. And then I'm going to give you a thorough, detailed driving review of this thing, just like I always do. And we're going to talk to death about it. So is it an easy install? Yeah. And hopefully we can accomplish quite a bit. We can have some better performance out of this car, and all the bushings and the bars and everything, it's all under $200 shipped, which is the awesome thing. So you're going to save like $300. But they're non-adjustable, but they are the GT350 R bars. So hopefully these it'll transform the car, transform the car, and it'll be good. We'll find out tomorrow. Okay, the car is back on the ground, and I was cleaning up my tools, and I was really trying to just rush, and don't be like me. So stupid. Everything's done with the car, and cleaning up the tools, and I'll look over by my toolbox, and there's the GT350R rear end, or rear sway bar. So I pulled the other one off, and because I was tired and trying to rush things, I put the new bushings onto the old bar and put it back on the car. So, all right, let's go fix it. God. Let's put the exhaust in quiet, and we're off. Okay, so we're back for the driving review. Now, Tennessee is broken. I just want to say that. It was nice last week, and then this week it was snowing yesterday, and it's the middle of March. It's nuts. Anyway, Tennessee's broken. So, about the bars. So I've actually been driving around with these bars for the better part of a week now. So I really wanted to, give it some time, and then, learn how the car feels, and stuff like that. So right off the bat, the car is going to drive very much like stock. So there's no extra noise. There's none of that. Everything works just like it's supposed to. The magnetic ride is just the same. It doesn't handle really any much different, over bumps and stuff like that. But one of the glorious things about this that I've learned over the past week is how this car transitions back and forth from side to side. So let's be fair, the steering in, anything in any Mustang outside of the GT350 sucks. The car doesn't have a whole lot of front end grip. The steering rack is completely different than what's in like the GT350s, And I haven't met anybody that doesn't want, more steering feedback and stuff like that. So these sway bars do help with that, actually. The side-to-side movement is a lot more responsive. The on-center steering feel is more responsive, so it's awesome. Everything still drives comfortably. Nothing is too harsh or anything like that. I really think that this is a win-win. Unless you want a more, I guess, track-ready bar. I mean, this is definitely track-ready. This is coming off of the 350R. But they're not adjustable, and really a lot of guys that do run aftermarket bars tend to put it in the middle setting, which is going to be your neutral settings on most bars, and then they leave it alone. They don't ever mess with it after that. Maybe they do occasionally on the track, but for people like me that pretty much daily drive their cars, I'm not going to be under there messing with the suspension settings that much. I'll leave that for the magnetic ride, which is great. You need to have that in this car. It really is awesome. So back to the bars. Everything is a short and sweet, simple install. I don't know what all the fuss is about with the installation of that front bar. It's really not that bad, but for under $200 ship for the front and rear bars, I mean, it's a bargain. It really is. So you can go to like AutoNation or some of these other websites where you can plug in the different part numbers, and then you can search for them that way. And then generally with those websites like AutoNation, I think is where I bought mine, and you have to pay for shipping. So shipping was like $40. It was obnoxious. It's stupid. But the individual prices for the equipment that I ordered was really, really cheap, and it's partly due, in fact, that the brackets and bushings on the GT Performance Pack sway bar are pretty much molded on there. It's kind of a one piece. So if you were to actually order that bar separately for just the GT Performance Pack bar, it's going to cost more than what the regular front bar is anyway. And if you have a GT Performance Pack, those brackets, like I told you earlier, you don't need. It all just transfers over. You just need to separate the little pieces and then put it all back together. You're fine. So anyway, I have no squeaks. I have nothing negative to say about this installation at all. There is no trade-off, period. This is one of those cheap bargain buys that you can do to your car to really give it some more feedback. It's really a win-win. It's cheap and it transforms a car. Is it a night and day thing? Well, I don't know. I haven't done a track day with the car, but just driving around on the street, I can tell you that it is different, and in a very good way. Of course, the big test is always on the track. Now, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I tend to like cars that transition side to side, and turn more so than just straight line speed, which is kind of why I actually went outside the box a couple of times and well, that guy didn't want to slow down. Why I ended up, like I owned the Focus RS and the STI and stuff like that. I like cars that handle really well. And it's nice that I can take some of that GT350R heritage and put it into this car. It's really nice. So the handling, it's all coming together as a complete package. It's awesome. It's wonderful. I'm not driving slow down this road, and this car behind me is wanting to keep up. Anyway, people in Tennessee can't drive. I mean, I can't either, but anyway. So who are these bars good for? I'd say if you're the kind of person that daily drives and you're not going to be going to the track too much that often, and so you're not going to be adjusting things back and forth. You just want something that makes the car transform and handle a little better on a budget. I think that this is a win-win. I've probably said that like 9 times already, but there's no cons to doing this. So yeah, I would definitely save up a couple $100 and then throw them on your car. I mean, it's awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Hope that you found this educational. I know it's kind of lengthy, but it just is what it is. And other than that, I will see you guys later.